What's going on YouTube? I ain't made a video in a while with me talking or whatever. Um, this conversation I had with one of the guys that I know is pretty deep, and it was crazy because it made me feel like an old man in a way. You know, it was kind of a conversation where I ain't gonna lie to you, I feel like a father figure or whatever. There's not too many conversations. I mean, I have a few, but it's not too many of them that I have that can make you feel emotional or make you feel some type of way. But apparently, this young fella, really valued my opinion where he asked me and asked me a question. I'm gonna get into it with you, and it was about marriage. And I'm thinking, I don't really talk about relationships because relationships are finicky. You got different people, different backgrounds, different setups. So it's a very finicky topic. If I'm looking around, you got to forgive me. I'm getting ready to take back off. We just had to do a crew change, so I'm getting ready to back off the bank, flip her off, and head across Mississippi Sounds, head to Mobile. But he reached out and he said, "Man, I'm thinking about getting married. What do you think about it?" And he's 20 to 22. And when I got married, I believe I was 23, so we wasn't too far off. And I remember the people I was around, boat-wise, they didn't have too many things to say positive. They was like, "Man, that's the worst thing you could do, man. Don't do it. Don't do it." I was around a lot of people that got divorces. I was around a lot of people that, they rode the boat damn near close to a year because they wasn't trying to go home. So, but I remember how I felt. I was so geeked up. And, I remember how I felt about my wife, at that moment, the period of time, in the beginning or whatever. And I didn't want to give him that same energy that I was given. But I damn sure wanted to keep it real with him or whatever. So I told him, I said, well, for one, congratulations, because at your age, that's an early age for any man to say that he wants to get married. And I commend you for it, because at your age, you're supposed to be having a good time, young brother. You're supposed to be in your limelight, you ready to, do the do. But when I seen that he was serious and that he was ready to get married, and that's what he wanted, I wasn't gonna talk him out of that, because that would be the wrong thing to do. Advise, but don't try to teach fear. Don't try to inflict pain or whatever the case may be. Don't do that. So anyway, I told him, I said, now follow me, because I like to use references when I communicate. I said, think of a car, and there's two of y'all. I said, before you get in that car, understand where you're going to be, back seat or the front. I said, understand that as the man, and you're marrying a woman, y'all both need to be in the front seat. And the reason why you both need to be in the front seat is because that's where your view is for you to get to your destination. And I told them, before you get in that front seat, understand that if an accident should happen, the front seat is where it's the worst. But that's still where you need to be. I also told them, and as I'm talking and saying these things, I'm thinking of all the things that I wish that I was told in the beginning, so I could have better prepared, or I could have been what I'm growing into now, a little bit more wiser. But that comes with time, that comes with adversity, and a whole bunch of things. So it's still all good. And I told him, when you get in that front seat, y'all need to figure out who's going to be driving, who's going to be in that passenger seat for this long road trip. And when you figure that out, go on and get in the car. Before you take off, understand how long that destination is. Where y'all plan on going? And I told him, when you have somewhat of an idea, you ain't gonna have it all figured out. When you have somewhat of an idea of where you're going, how much is it gonna take to get there? How much do you currently have right now? When you get certain places and things don't seem like what you think they should be, how do you figure it out? How much gas does it take? How many stops do you have to make? What happens if you get a flat tire? And I'm just talking and you're using all these references, and I'm honestly, in a way, I'm talking to myself. Because these are the things that I learned along the way for my marriage. And he's asking questions, and he's like, well, why are you using a car? I said, well, if you follow me, you'll understand why. And I pretty much told him that I used the car because it's going to start out y'all too. And as you progress, you may add a car seat in the back. And I said, when you do that, I want you to look back at that car seat, because now you just signed up for something else. And they're not on the same level. That's a different love, and that's a different contract. When you say I do, you sign up to be strong 365. When you add a car seat in the back, you sign another contract. I gotta be strong 365. And I brought up to him that there's a rapper, which I guess you could say TV producer now, I don't think he raps, 50 Cent, which I think his real name is Curtis Jackson. And he said that depression, anxiety is a luxury. And the people that he was talking to, they was like, oh man, anybody can have that. He said, you're not listening, that's a luxury. And he had to explain to them what he meant by that. And as I grew up from 23 to 31, I understand exactly what the hell he's saying. That's a luxury. And what he explained was, say, I forgot exactly what he said, but I'm giving an example. I think I know the grounds of it. Say a man has a son, he has cancer. He got a job that don't pay that much. But he didn't got that hospital bill. They didn't told him exactly how much he need, and how much he needs to, and when he needs to bring it. But he doesn't have the job that's going to allow him to do all those things. Someone else that doesn't have that exact problem, they can afford to say they're tired. He can't. His son's in that bed, and every day is clock in. Every day he got to get it to make it happen. I'm pretty sure during this moment he's stressed out. Can't afford to be stressed, because you need to think. Because if you're stressed out, you can't think. If you're stressed out, you can't go to work and be productive. You can't afford to be stressed out. So as I'm listening to it, I'm thinking, damn, that's kind of true. Because I remember my own story where I got fired September the 17th. I want to say September the 17th, 2021. Yeah, I got fired. And when I had to make that phone call, I've never had to make that. Well, first of all, I've never been with anybody like my wife why I had to call. I mean, if I took a L, I took a L. There was nobody to talk to about it. It just was what it was. But I'm the man of the house, so you know, it's just news that I got a break. And I wasn't exactly prepared for that, because fuck, I'm the man. I don't want to have to tell you I lost my damn job. You know, Yeah, that's the least I'm trying to do. So anyway, I'm thinking, damn, but because of my faith, I didn't really break down and anything, nothing like that. It took me for a loop, but I didn't do no breaking down like that because I knew that God had me, and I knew that my work ethics was going to speak for me. So I didn't have to worry about that. But in that moment, when you're the breadwinner, when you're the visionary, when you're the one that's pushing everything forward, you can't afford to be depressed. And I have the mindset, two negatives go nowhere. So if I'm in a fucked up situation and I'm stressed and depressed, how's that gonna help me? How am I gonna get out of that situation? How am I gonna think properly? I'm not. So I don't even go down that road. There is no depression, there is no stress, there is no anxiety. You better figure it the fuck out. Because at the time, it was just the wife and my two baby girls. And I'm not coming up short. I grew up seeing what short looks like. Now that God has blessed me with a job, I'm not coming up short. I'm a married man and I'm a father. So coming up short is, I always say, and I tell myself, God forbid, I hope I never lose my job, or I never hope that I fall off. Because wrong or right, I'm going to make it right. Wrong or right, they going to eat. Wrong or right, they're going to have a roof over their head by any means necessary. And I hope I don't have to go down that road, because unfortunately, when you have to get in survival mode, you have to do survival shit. And that's where that 365 come in. So I told him that, and he was like, man, I didn't know you went through that. And I said, well, to be honest with you, I didn't share that with everybody. And the reason why I didn't share it with everybody, because everybody, they can't sympathize with your pain. They can't relate to your pain. And some people, if they see you to be strong all the time, 365, they can't see you no other way. And some people be glad to see your ass down. So that's another reason why they do it too. But let's get back to the car and the reference about the marriage. I told him, for one, I'm proud of you. But when you get in that car, y'all get in that front seat and y'all figure out who gonna be in the driver, who gonna be in the passenger, because there's a lot of gender role shit going on, but whoever's the strongest in a particular area, that's where they need to be. No ifs, ands, or buts. This ain't about no man, woman, roles. If she more power driven, more focused, and a calculated thinker, this, that, and third, she might need to drive. But if you more built for the distance and a few other things, you sit in that passenger seat. But next time we got to get gas, I might need to take it from here. And y'all need to figure that out and figure out how often y'all gonna do that and when you gonna do it. If a flat tire happens, what's gonna happen? If you on the wrong side of town, what's gonna happen? Like, there's a lot of, I'm bringing up these different things that some of them may not have to do with marriage, but what I'm saying is these certain things are what you need to talk about and think about, because you're gonna face them. And without understanding them, you may face them unprepared, and when you face anything unprepared, you're not going to be successful the first time. You may not be successful the second time, but eventually your ass want to be successful, because if you keep failing, yeah, you're in trouble. Simple as that. But nonetheless, I told him I'm proud of you, and I wish you nothing but success in this journey, because it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing to find someone that truly loves you. It's a wonderful thing to come home and that's your boo. That's your ride or die. That's your significant other. That's your better half. That's your smile. That's your comfort. If you can't go to nobody else, you come home to Big Mama. If you can't cry to nobody else, you can cry to Big Mama, because you're gonna need that during this journey. And once you start adding them car seats to that back, you really gonna need it, because now that's another stress load, that's another workload, and you're gonna need it. But understand, when you get in that car, it's both of y'all first. Then you look back to the back seat and you see about the kids. See, I'm gonna show you something. Flip this around. See, I'm not in the car, I'm on the boat. I need to be looking out here because that's what's in front of me. This is what's pushing everything that's below me and behind me. So when I'm up here, I need to stay focused on what's in front of me. I only look back here when I need to be worried about what's behind me, what's beside me. Driven from the front. So I said, I want you to be successful during this journey, because right now relationships, from what I'm seeing online, is taking an all outright hit. It's getting dragged. It's marriages, divorce rates are climbing like a motherfucker. But I want yours to be successful. And if you ever hit a moment where you feel that it's not successful, think of everything that y'all talked about before you get in the car. And you may not physically get in the car, but what I'm saying is the car is a marriage. Before you get into it, think about everything that you're supposed to know to be able to grow into this thing, because it's a lot. And if you come into it like we all have, with that same elementary, middle school, high school, and a little bit after high school thinking, you fucking up. Because there's a lot to this thing. But I said, nonetheless, I commend you for coming in early. I read a report and it said women should get married in their 20s, men should get married in their 30s because they're going to be more mature. I said, I'm not going to talk you out of your situation, because I can tell you were just like me. You were gun-ho and ain't nobody finna talk you out of it. You locked in. But I said, what I will tell you is, be around grounded people and be around balanced people. If your mother's gonna be on your side and not be balanced, don't tell your mama shit. If your daddy is not gonna be balanced and he gonna take your side, don't talk to your daddy. Talk to somebody that can see both of y'all for y'all. Talk to somebody that can see both of y'all as immature and trying to find a way to grow and progress through this thing. I had someone, and I gave him an example. I said I had someone, and it was in a way fucked up, but then I had to think about it. This person not even in my bloodline, so I can't even expect for them to, you know, really be a mediator. And they were a person that I seen that had a sense of reason. So I was trying to get them to, you know, kind of be a mediator. Had a situation at one point, and they told me, my name is Bennett, so I'm not in it. And I'm thinking, damn, okay, all right, cool. I mean, I wouldn't be like that, but it's all good. I'm not gonna fault you for it. It is what it is. You don't bring your situations to people like that, because that means they've already chosen a side.